Hi guys, it's Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner, and today I'm doing a new design team project for TaylorMadeCards4U. She has a bunch of digital products over on her website, which is TaylorMadeCards4U.com. And each month we do a special project hop on the first Saturday of the month. This month we are doing Pink Pastel Christmas, and it is an adorable digital set. So let me go ahead and show you on the pages that I'm able to on here. And it actually comes with more than just this. This is basically, these two pages are showing the ephemera, but there's also some real pretty pattern paper pages too. You can see that on this front image on her website. So here are a couple of the pages that I decided to print out. These are just precious. I think this is going to make a really, really nice background. I'm kind of leaning towards this one, but these little trucks are super adorable too. And out of the ephemera pages, I decided I really like this little poinsettia. Been liking poinsettias a bit lately. So I'm going to basically make a couple of really quick and simple, clean and simple cards using these products. So after printing everything out, I needed to cut them down. So I do have a couple of sheets of that pattern paper. I went ahead and cut these panels down to 4 by 5 1/4, I think. This one is actually 5 by 3 3/4. Yes. So it's going to be less than A2 size. So I've got my A2 size. Decided I'm going to go with some pink mirror cardstock. This is just some stuff from Michaels, and that's cut down to 5 1/4 by 4, and then of course my card panels are going to go on top of that, and they're cut a little bit smaller. I basically went down about 1/4 inch with each size except for one, and that's because I accidentally cut it a little bit too small. And I also went ahead and cut these guys out using my scan and cut. So here we are at my scan and cut. I'm going to put the images, the paper that I printed out, down onto my mat. Make sure that it's stuck down pretty well, and then I'm going to tell the machine to scan. Everything is touch screen, so you just touch where it says scan, then direct cut, and then say that the machine is going to interpret everything. And then I'm going to this next part that is wanting to know what the size of the scan area is. And if you look at my mat, it's actually going to be more than the 6 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and change that to 12 by 12. And then go ahead and tell the machine to scan it in. Now, one reason why it was set on 12 by 6 is because I've been doing smaller items than this page, because this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet. But in this case, I'm going ahead and doing the full thing. I am noticing that my cutting, for whatever reason, I think I need to clean the machine, but for whatever reason, it's not cutting as well on all of the machine as I would like. Well, the next step is to frame the image, so we're just going to pull in the little bars around the outside so that it focuses on that area of my image. And then as I'm looking at this, I'm seeing that it looks like one of them might not be completely right. I'm going to go ahead and add an offset first though, and this one I'm just hitting the button twice, so it's going to be 0.08. And then as I'm scanning through them, the red box shows what each image is, and this is showing that there's 2 images for one of mine. So I decided I'm just going to delete that one altogether so I don't have any issues with it trying to cut a little bit different. Looks like the scanner needs to be cleaned because it did not recognize that. So now I'm going to go ahead and tell I do want it to cut, so I select cut, and I'm going to go ahead and tell it to do its thing. I did run a test cut, and I did wind up having to cut a few times because, again, I don't use my machine that often, and the recommendations I've seen so far say that maybe I just need to clean it pretty well. Now, I really, really love these little packages, but I decided, I want a little bit extra, so I am going to, on the first one anyway, we'll see how it looks once I get done, I'm going to go ahead and grunge up the edges just a little bit using It's a Girl from Catherine Pooler. This I'm using my red brush, which is for red and for pink, and I'm going to put it down on top of a silicone mat so that I don't get a lot of ink all over my glass surface, because you know what will happen if I have it on my glass surface? I'll get it all over my cardstock, and I don't really want to do that. And I'm just going to bring in just a little bit. I don't want to come in too far. And I just like this big brush because it does bring in the color pretty quickly, so I don't really have to spend a lot of time on the grunge step. But this is going to be a quick and easy card design that you'll be able to do as, you know, you can mass produce these pretty quickly if you want and have some real pretty cards to give out at Christmas. Okay, so I think that looks pretty nice. Let's see what it looks like with the pink mirror cardstock behind it. I think that looks pretty good. And then this on top. That I think is going to look lovely. Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to my other 3 panels. So I'll have enough basically when I'm done to make 4 cards. So now I'm going to go ahead and start adhering these down onto my mirror cardstock. Now, foil cardstock doesn't always like things to stick to it. I'm going to use some dot liner adhesive for this. And basically that foil is going to stand out right around the edges and kind of give it a little bit of pop. That's kind of what I'm looking for there. Do the same thing with all 4 of these. Okay, this one is the one that is smaller, so I need to make sure I put it on the mat with about a 1/4 inch all the way around. Okay, that looks pretty cool. Next, I'll go ahead and put them on the card bases, and then I can put my poinsettias on top of all of that. These I'm also going to put down with just some dot liner adhesive. Okay, so there's the last one. And now we have to decide which direction do we want them to go in. Because these cards don't have to be exactly the same. This one's going to be different anyway because it's got a little bit of more of a mat. But my first thought is being able to hang them like this. I think that would be really cute. And I think this would look great right there in the center. So that's what I'm going to do for the first one. And I'm just going to use some foam squares to pop this up and add a bit of dimension. Okay, and I still have some space on here that I need to add some more foam to, so I'm going to use the waste from this pack here to kind of make up for it. And that way I don't put, this doesn't go to waste, and I have my extra foam. Okay, so that will be nice and popped up, gives that little bit of dimension. That I think is going to look great. We'll go ahead and take that release paper off. Okay, so I'm going to put that right down and try to keep that box pretty much straight. There we go. So I really like the way that that one is looking. But I think I'm going to do something I haven't done in a bit. And if I can find it, I'm going to use a shimmer pen. This is a Spectrum Noir shimmer pen, and I have not used these in, I don't know, at least 6 months. There are so many different ways that you can add a little bit of glittery goodness to your cards, especially at Christmas. And I'm just going to basically paint some onto this first card here. And I want to do, I don't know if you can see that. Let me tilt it in the light a little bit. There you go. Now you can see a little bit of the shimmer on those, they're not exactly petals. Poinsettias are actually weeds. I think I've said that more often this year than I have ever said before, but they are. They are basically weeds. The flower portion, this is because my husband is, you know, very analytical and he figured it out for me. But this little piece in the center is actually the only part that's the flower, and the leaves are, I think, a way that it's either protecting or attracting like bees or whatever to the plant for what it needs, right? And like a lot of different plants, they do change colors depending on, you know, what part of their life cycle they're in, and or, you know, what the season is, what the weather's like, those kind of things. But poinsettias are so pretty with their vibrant red petals, even though these are pink, and I've seen lots of different colors, that people had decided a long time ago that, you know, these are perfect flowers for Christmas. You know, with all of the red and greens for Christmas. So, okay. So this is one way And it looks like I've got a little piece of paper there that was going across there. Don't want it there. So this is one way you can add a little bit of extra shimmer to your digis to step them up a notch when you're making a card. And I think I've got plenty of sparkle ink in this one, but I am needing to squeeze it out a little bit as I go along. I have not used these in so long, and this is one of my first favorites from several years ago when I first started making cards. Adding that little bit of glitter just made everything just look so much nicer. So here we go. Now you can see that little bit of sparkle just over the poinsettia. So I did the same thing on this one. I just placed the center, the focal point a little different on there. It's basically across with it vertical, and I added that shimmer to that one too. For this one, I've added it down into the corner, and this one I'm going to also add it across the bottom. All of these are added with the foam tape. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my Nuvo glitter accents, yes, and add a little snow to our little poinsettia flower, basically adding some shine in another way. So there are lots, like I was saying, there are a lot of different ways that you can add a little extra. So I think I'm going to just go, and you can do the same thing with some stickles, and I actually thought about using stickles for this too, but I don't know what I did with them. I have them around here somewhere, but I don't know where I put them. And I'm also going to use, if I can find it, my pokey tool. There we go. That's what happens when I put things away, right? So I'm going to use this to kind of get it only on the pink leaves. And I'm not going to cover the whole thing. I'm just kind of wanting to do the tips. So going ahead, and I think I've got a little bit too much on here, but that's okay. This is going to add a little bit of that extra shimmer. A little bit of extra glitter to our card. And you really can't go wrong at Christmas with having a little bit of glitter added to pretty much everything. And Monica did a great job here. This image includes the sentiment and the focal image, and it's all one piece and looks great together. Great balance so that it makes it a lot easier when you want to make your cards. Okay, let me go ahead and make my way around my little poinsettia here. And then I can drag some of the glitter to any areas that I missed or that I want to have. You know, I might want a little less in some areas, a little bit more in others, and we're going to just go with it. And this is kind of like a glitter paste. It's very, very chunky. Whereas Stickles isn't quite so chunky. So this is a lot like snow. Okay, and I think I'm going to add a little in the center too. So there we go. Oh, I missed one. I missed one of my leaves, one of my petals. Okay. And I think, well, actually, I just noticed I missed a second one. This one here. I missed it too. So let me add a little bit on there. And I'm going to say that that card is done. So now I just need to do the same thing to this one. So now we've got 4 lovely Christmas cards made using the Pink Pastel Christmas from TaylorMadeCards4U. These two have got the shimmer added to the petals or leaves or whatever you want to call the pink part of the poinsettia flowers. And then we've got these two that have got a little bit of a snowy kind of accent using some Nuvo glitter accents. So you guys dig into your stash, see what you have to add just a little extra. Okay, that little extra bit of shimmer, shine, glitter to your Christmas projects, that is going to just take them over the top, and everybody that you send a card to is going to absolutely love them. You guys have a wonderful day. Check out this playlist to see other videos where I'm using TaylorMade Cards for You products, and remember, if I can make it, you can too. Talk to you soon.